Hi, my Pisces friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. Oh my gosh, the cards are already starting to come out. My name is Emily Gear. I am a transformative energy healer and a multidimensional channel. And these are going to be your messages for the week. There will also be, and this is a general reading, so there will also be a relationship and energy healing, relationship reading and energy healing available on Vimeo. Through the link in the info box below. What else do I like to say? I like to say that if this is your sun sign and it's not resonating with you, definitely check out your moon, your rising, and even your Venus sign to get a little more complete reading. And honestly, if none of those resonate, it just might not be your week. There are so many people out there watching videos that it's very hard to hit everybody at once. So I'm going to go ahead and get shuffling, see which Pisces we're connecting to this week, and find out what to expect in the coming week. During this coming week is a big, actually I think it's a total solar eclipse, so that might weigh into our reading here. What should Pisces expect this coming week, Pete, please? Oh my God. Well, this card was one of the first ones that popped. So, guys, this is definitely going to be a week of looking at negative thought patterns or habits or anything that is kind of preventing your growth. Okay. I think most of you, I get the impression that you are aware of what these things are. And so it's just going to be continued work through that. It's the Devil with the Three of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords coming up here. So I think that, you're aware of what your issues are. I do think that there are some that you might need to be very honest with yourself about. Pisces can be a little bit, oh gosh, they're filling my ears with words. So not always. I'm sure you have obviously many other planets in your chart, so you might not reflect this specific trait of some Pisces and also other signs. So this is not really a generalization, but what they're bringing up to me is any tendency toward martyrdom, or to feel sorry for yourself, or emotional that, somebody's taking advantage of you or whatever. That might be one thing that you might need to look at very closely and ask yourself, is this real? Is this true? Am I disempowering myself in this situation as opposed to someone else disempowering me? What this is really about is a victim consciousness thing. So where do you have power to step in and take control, where you have actually been giving that away to other people because it has felt easier to you on an emotional level to step back into, oh, woe is me. Oh my gosh, I'm so hurt and taken advantage of by people because I'm so open and loving, or I'm so emotionally soft, or whatever it is. So that's a major one coming up, I think, this coming week that needs to be looked at, because you have control. This just is making me feel like you have full control over your boundaries and where you allow people to cross them, or do you allow people to cross them. It's not about them, it's about you asserting your sovereignty and control over those boundaries, okay? This may be, one of your biggest hurdles to being able to reach the next level. When I see this Three of Pentacles, I do think about hard work, but I also think about the many layers and levels that are required when you're building a cathedral, because the traditional card features an artisan working on a cathedral, right? Hundreds and hundreds of years of work went into building those cathedrals, and they took, layers and layers of work. They weren't even finished in many of these workers' lifetimes. So they would be working on something that they didn't necessarily even see the completed process, unless they got on the project at the end, So my point here being that you might not see the end result, you might not see even what the point is at the moment, but as these issues are coming up to be looked at, and to anything that's making you feel chained, those are the issues coming up to be looked at, okay? And one of those big ones is that you are chaining yourself to this idea that other people are taking advantage of you, okay? And you have to look closely at what your role is in those things happening. I'm not saying that that's not happening at all, you know, that people aren't taking advantage of you, but where could you be taking control of the situation, okay? All right, let's see what else wants to come out. For Pisces, please. Cards for Pisces for this coming week. All right, let's get a few more. Cards for Pisces for this coming week. Okay, so we've got the Three of Cups with the Four of Cups and the Ace of Wands in this next group here. So I got a very similar message actually for Aquarius. And that was that, you know, you might have been, okay, they're taking me back to the martyr, the victim consciousness, the martyr consciousness type thing. If you are sacrificing yourself on your own volition, right, for the group, the community, this three of cups, these 3 cups. If you are doing that, that is your decision. If somebody made you do that, that's a different thing. If you have chosen to do that, that's one thing. That is your decision. You have the absolute right to choose to value yourself instead, or to give, not even just value yourself, you might be valuing yourself, but maybe to give yourself more attention instead, okay? To go your own way, to go down the road that you want to go down, to honor your desires, your dreams. So that's one thing, okay? Don't project your, you know, a certain need to feel that you are giving more than you're receiving in order to be okay. That's a program that comes from childhood, or it can come from, you know, different institutions, different religious institutions especially, that kind of stuff. That's a program. That's not real. That's what I mean by saying, is this real? Some of you might actually have been kind of pushed or manipulated into being in these roles where you are giving more than you're receiving, right? Where you are serving the community, but you are not taking time to serve your own needs, okay? And that's just, you know, that old saying of put the oxygen mask on yourself before trying to put the mask on others. It just makes sense. If you go down before you mask other people, then everybody goes down, right? So there might be a situation in which, you know, you need to look at where you're complicit in your own manipulation, someone manipulating you, right? Where can you step in and set some boundaries to say, okay, I will do this, but I won't do that. Or I will do this for this many hours a week, and then the rest of the time is mine. I will talk to you about your problems until you start to complain, and then I'm done. I'm not the dumpster for your negative energy, okay? That's something that most water signs do, whether it's Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, or you've got that somewhere in your chart strongly. We become the dumpsters for everybody's negative energy and emotions, and it's just really challenging, but we have the responsibility to then the words are not coming today. We have the responsibility to then like sort of moderate how much of that we decide to expect. It's in your control. I'm going on and on about that, and that's probably very clear to you. However, this feels like an establishing of your power, your boundaries, with the Ace of Wands coming up here. So expect that you may need to step in somewhere and say, okay, I am happy to do this, but I will only do it for 5 hours a week. Or, hey, I'd love to go out and hang out, but the minute you start getting violent at the bar, we're leaving. Or, you know what I mean? Like, you probably shouldn't be hanging out with people who are getting violent at the bar anyway. I don't know why that came up, but maybe somebody needed to hear about that. So just know that making that assertion, that putting your stake in the ground to say, this is the line you do not cross, is important. And sticking to that, and also like the Queen of Swords, just think of the Queen of Swords, be the Queen of Swords. She doesn't feel bad about setting those boundaries. I think that's what is challenging to a lot of people who are very compassionate and do truly want to help others. You cannot feel bad about that. You have to be like very matter of fact about it and fair, assuming that the other person would like to set their own boundaries as well. Whether they're intelligent, emotionally intelligent enough or not to do that is not your problem. It's only fair that you are also allowed to set your own boundaries. And so you should not feel bad about that. And simply it is what it is. Yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of internal conflict around this. There's some kind of program you're running that tells you that, that's telling you that you have to give everything, give all, you know? Let's see, this whole chunk just popped out. Let's see what it is. So you have the Fool coming up here, and I think this is what occurs when you finally do set those boundaries. You do get a restart. It is going to feel a little bit like throwing yourself off a cliff, because I think that a lot of the fear is, it comes down to, what if they abandon me then? What if they abandon me? If I set down my rules or my expectations, and I'm not draining myself for other people, and I'm not martyring myself for other people and giving more than I'm receiving, what if they abandon me? And that's the leap of faith that you're taking, because the Queen of Swords says you're entitled to that. That's just a fear. If they do abandon you, know this: they were not in it. They were not your loved ones. You know what I mean? They were not in it because they loved and cherished you. They were in it for what they could gain from you. All right. So there's a chance that, some people are going to take some time to get used to this, and you might need to defend your position a little bit and say, listen, I get it. I know that you feel that you need X, Y, and Z from me, but I'm telling you what I'm willing to give, and I need to take more time for myself, or there will not be me in the picture anymore. And so you might need to do that, and just, again, think the Queen of Swords. Think balanced, think calm, think really matter of fact in your description, and don't bring emotion into it if you can help it, which brings us to the Temperance card, where you're just really going to need to be balanced and calm about the way that you introduce some of the people in your life to this new way of interacting, this new way of communicating, this new way of setting your boundaries, of setting your stake in the ground, okay? That this is now your truth, all right? This is going to provide for you it's actually going to take you from being a, sort of whittled down, drained shell of a human. Not that that's necessarily what you are right now, but there's the potential for that when you're giving so much, or you're feeling like you're allowing people to take advantage of you, but to become a grounded and abundant individual. This is somebody who is warm, caring, and nurturing of everyone in their life, but they are grounded. They have enough to give, but they are also receiving in abundance. And that is really the key, is achieving that balance, okay? And recognizing that as truth, and not the programming that we're given in our childhood that says, give until it hurts. Or, I mean, you can do that, but you need to be receiving too on the other side. But, sacrifice yourself for everyone else. That kind of thing. Because in general, that's only going to hurt the whole, right? You serve the whole by supporting yourself and nourishing yourself first so that you can nourish everyone else, all right? It's the time. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and end it there for the general read. Let me just quickly get an animal spirit card. These are the Colette Baron Reed animal cards from last year that are just gorgeous. So let's get a card to tie up this reading for Pisces before we move on to the extended relationship read. Card for Pisces, please. Card for Pisces for this week, please. Card for Pisces for this week, please. Telling me to chill out, that my energy's blocking them from popping. Card for Pisces for this week, please. Wow. Wasp spirit. Sometimes life stings. Sometimes life stings. And I wouldn't take that as like some kind of negative omen, but I do think that it's like this feeling of, yeah, this kind of sucks to have to do this, but you got to do this to preserve yourself. You've got to do this, and what do wasps do? They set their boundaries. They're like, do not screw with my nest. You know what I mean? You don't swat at a wasp if you don't want to die. So it's kind of that same energy of sticking up for yourself, protecting yourself in order to protect your own, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Please do like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and you can join me on Vimeo by clicking the link in the info box below. We'll look into your relationships, and then we will do a brief energy healing based upon what comes out, okay? Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.